Hi, Robert Chuckrow here. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a new level of understanding that I achieved, both in my movements and my understanding of what Professor Cheng was trying to teach us in New York City in the 1970s. And it came from a page of a book of his that dealt with dòng in the move rollback. When I read that page, I was very puzzled, but I think I figured out exactly what was meant, but also saw how it differed with what Professor Cheng showed us, and also what you see in the movies of him, the videos of him. And I feel I've resolved that. So what I'll first do is show you that page, and we'll go over that. And I'll also show you some of the Chinese in that page, the original Chinese, so you'll see a clearer understanding of what he was saying. Then I'll show you a very short video of him doing rollback, and then I'll show the same video again at half speed. And then I will demonstrate what I learned and say what it is that I now understand about not only that movement, but about what I understand Cheng Man-ch'ing was trying to accomplish in teaching us Tai-Chi in the 1970s. This is page 42 from Cheng Man-ch'ing's book, Master Cheng's New Method of Tai-Chi Chuan Self-Cultivation, and it's translated by Mark Hennessy. And he's talking about how to go from ward off right to roll back and press. So he says, and this is the highlighted text, next turn the left hip joint slightly to the right front corner, placing the weight entirely on the right leg. The two elbows momentate, that is, move with momentum, slightly forward. So when I read that, I said, okay, when the body stops, everything moves. And then he says, a little later, you sit back, etc., and then turn the waist as far as possible to the left rear. Following this movement, the two arms momentate to the left rear side. The feet remain fixed. And that agrees with what I have been doing. That is, when the body stops, the arms keep moving, and then you start to go forward and you're moving oppositely to the arms. But then, lower down, here more to the right, I read this highlighted text. The hands must not only move with the waist, they rest when it rests. That, to me, was something new that I had never heard before. That when the body stops, the hands rest. And I said to myself, well, how does momentum carry through if the hands rest when the body stops? That means the momentum would be lost. And how could the hand make this big circle that I'll show you in next, Cheng Man-ch'ing doing it, and how he did that, and that's the way I have been doing it ever since. And I realized that when the hand stops, when the body stops, the hand stops, and the shoulder stops, that doesn't stop the momentum completely. It stops it from going into the hand. But the elbow can rise up. So it's the same thing when you turn to the right and you stop, the hands stop, but the elbows keep going. So one elbow will lower, the left elbow will lower, the right elbow will rise. Then you should sit back, turn to the left, and now the right elbow lowers and the left elbow rises. The hand and the shoulder have stopped at that point, which is something that then I tried, and guess what? It was very amazing because it was so effortless and so subtle, so subtle. When I showed page 42 to my friend James Chan, he was very interested in that second sentence that contained the word momentate and wanted to know the Chinese characters that Cheng Man-ch'ing actually wrote. Well, he found them, and here they are. And he translated it, and this is the translation. Both elbows also subtly trend ahead and swing with rotational momentum. The word, the next to last word is dòng, which means swing. So Cheng Man-ch'ing was talking about dòng, but he was talking about how it happens in a very specific way. Here is Professor Cheng doing rollback, and watch his left arm. Big circle, his hand does not stop when his body stops. And here is Professor Cheng at half speed doing the same move. Watch his left hand, and there it is right at the bottom when his body stops, and it continues moving, comes up, and then his body starts turning and shifting again. I think that what we see as the difference between what Professor Cheng was describing on page 42 and what he did in the video is the difference between small frame and large frame Tai-Chi movement, respectively. Small frame is much more advanced. Large frame is taught to beginners. And when he wrote about this, it was in Taiwan, where he had some very advanced students by then, and he wanted to get down a very precise and clear explanation of how to do the movements, which hadn't been the case in any of his other books. But when he was in New York and he was teaching basically beginners, even though some of them were pretty high level in other martial arts, they were beginners in Tai-Chi, and started to see that the students were going to be able to fulfill his wish and his teacher's, Yang Cheng Fu's wish, that Tai-Chi be spread as much as possible. He saw that possibility, and he decided to teach large frame movements and just spend a lot of time on that, getting everything down very clearly and very precisely, so that all of this could go out and be the most likely to be able to spread Tai-Chi to many, many new beginners. And it has. It certainly has. First, I'll show a choreographed paint-by-numbers version of what Cheng Man-ch'ing seems to be describing. And I'll do it slowly, and I'll point things out. So I'm in ward-off right. I shift forward, turn to the right. My right hand comes up, my left hand comes down a little bit. I sit back, but before I do, the momentum of having turned this way brings my elbows out. So it starts to turn my hands as my elbows continue to my right. And then I do this. And now when I stop to turn the other way, my elbows continue to my left and come forward. So again, this is an application of rollback and press. So my partner is going to come in and push me, push, and I go back. So instead, what I do is, as he comes in, my arms come up. My right arm is against his left, the outside of his left forearm, and my left arm is on the inside of his right forearm. And as he come in to push, I come over here, and now I have his arm locked, and I can turn him to the side this way, and now I can push. See? So a little faster. See? Now this can come up this way, and now this is locked here. That's a variation. I have these thumbs, these fingers. See? See, this is the thumb lock. This is another one.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. You okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
All right.